Good morning, Wig Tech. Thank you so much for attending our Spring 2021 University Transfer Fair. This morning, from 10 o'clock to 11 o'clock, we are now hosting Appalachian State University. I am so proud. That is my alma mater. This morning, we have admissions counselor Presley Layton. She will be presenting some information on the transfer admission process for Appalachian State. And then the last half of the hour will be a question and answer session. Please feel free throughout the presentation to type your questions in the Q&A box that you see. Presley will go through her presentation first, and at the end she will be answering those questions. So if you could just be patient, that would be great, but feel free to go ahead and ask those questions throughout. All right, Presley, take it away.
Thank you so much, Blair. Yeah, thank you so much, everybody, for being here this morning. We really appreciate your time, and we want to teach you a little few things about App State and just what to expect in your experience, both as you transfer to App State, but also just what to expect when you become a student here as well. So I serve the Office of Online and Transfer Services. So as you can see, we are an office solely dedicated to transfer students. From the time that you are just thinking about applying to transfer all the way through your graduation. So you'll have us as a huge resource to you as you go through your years here at App State. But just to kick us off, we're first going to jump into just a little bit about our location. So we are located, our main campus, up in Boone, North Carolina. So we're tucked up in the northwestern corner of the state, right in the middle of the Blue Ridge Mountains. So we are very lucky to live and learn here, and we love how much there is to do in the area. Outdoor programs and outdoor just kind of adventures in general. That is a very popular aspect of App State, and so there's a lot to do in the surrounding region for sure. But if you can't move to Boone, we also have App State Online programs or off-campus site-based programs just off the mountain, and we're going to be talking about those soon as well. But here you can see downtown Boone. A lot of times you'll hear this referred to as King Street, so just know that that's the same thing. But when you visit King Street, you can definitely check out just our local restaurants. There's some really awesome places on King Street that you can try out, and you can experience that eclectic culture as well. And it's just on the back side of our campus. So if you were to look on the other side of these buildings here, that is campus. So it's a very short walk, and it's a very popular area for students, but also for locals and tourists as well. So it's a very, very busy and exciting place to live and learn for sure. In terms of your Appalachian kind of classroom community here, since our origin as a teachers college back in 1899, we've grown quite a bit since then. So we have over 20,000 students now, 90% of whom are undergraduate students, just like all of you are going to be as you're pursuing your bachelor's degrees. So our focus on that undergraduate education side of things, it really allows for you to experience the opportunities available at large institutions, but you're getting that with a smaller school feel. And much earlier on in your experience as well. So for example, our undergraduate students are really heavily involved in research, much of which is completed alongside their faculty members. And we have students during their junior and senior years that are published in academic journals from the research that they're conducting with faculty members. So some very successful students as they are kind of navigating through their career here. But with this average class size that you can see down here in the student to faculty ratio, it really makes building those connections a lot easier. To build with both your faculty members, with your peers in the classroom, to make for a more engaging academic experience. And that really does lead to some promising careers as App State graduates. As you can see, we have about 98% of our students employed or in grad school within a year of them graduating. As transfer students specifically, you might actually have a professor that also serves as a faculty transfer mentor, and that's yet another resource point and a means of support for you as well. But these faculty members, they may point you towards internships for your program, as some programs require internships while others highly encourage them. So they're very, very popular for App State students. So whether you talk with, the Career Development Center, your professors, or both to seek out those opportunities, you'll have lots of people here to help you kind of find those options for yourself. And also just kind of focusing more in on transfer students here as well. We are very proud to say that App State has a reputation for being very transfer friendly. So we're on the Phi Theta Kappa transfer honor roll, and only 153 different universities nationwide are on that list. But it's basically a list that serves to showcase universities' commitment and their investment of resources to transfer students in particular. So if you saw on that last slide, our transfer population here, you all would make up about 29% of our entire campus body. And make sure to take a look at these fast facts as well. But we've got some very, very successful students coming in, whether it's from, community colleges or four-year institutions or straight out of the military. We've got a really robust transfer community here. So we look forward to helping you kind of reach your goals as you come in as a transfer student specifically. So in terms of academics, we've got quite a bit to choose from. So there's over 150 majors for you to choose from here, all of which fall into one of these undergraduate colleges that you see listed in that top right corner there. And also transfer students have a lot of great options to be honors students as well, whether it's within the honors college itself or through departmental honors. There are credit hour and GPA requirements for that to be able to apply. So you can check all of those details out at honors.appstate.edu if you want to learn more about that. Also, if you choose to pursue a graduate education, so if you're pursuing a master's degree at some point with App State, we have some great programs through our graduate school, and that does include our accelerated admission programs, which means that you can start taking master's level courses during your undergraduate senior year, no extra cost to that, just undergraduate tuition, and tack on maybe an extra year to complete that master's degree. So you'll save money and time that way. So definitely check those opportunities out at graduate.appstate.edu if you're interested in kind of pursuing those options later on as well. Now, as I mentioned before, we wanted to touch on some of our programs through App State Online. So if you are interested in pursuing a degree either entirely online or at one of our off-campus centers just off the mountain, we have 11 different programs offered through App State Online. You can see the respective delivery methods and the locations if it is an off-site program. And all of these details are also on the website here, online.appstate.edu. But if you want to learn more about those programs, we have actually these program-specific information sessions throughout the semester. So if you go to the whichever program that you're looking at on that website, there's a link for you to sign up for that. So there are virtual sessions where you'll hear directly from a faculty member that teaches within that program to see kind of the intricacies of what those App State Online programs would look like for you. So as you're coming through your time at Wake Tech and kind of planning to transfer in the future to App State, we've got some really, really great advising resources that I highly encourage you to use if you're not already. So if you go to transfer.appstate.edu, and again, that's just our online transfer services website, we have, first of all, the course equivalency search tool. So if you wanted to see, which of your courses from Wake Tech that you're either currently taking or that you have taken to see whether or not they transfer, you can plug them right into that course equivalency search tool and it'll show you if it transfers or not. As long as you have a C or better in that class, it'll definitely transfer if it shows up on that list. Also, we do have one-on-one advising chats that you can sign up for, and we have a lead transfer advisor in our office, of course, but as you're going through your time at Wake Tech, I'll be your transfer advisor as well. So if you need help with kind of picking your classes for next semester to make sure that you're taking the most appropriate coursework, I'm definitely happy to help with that. But also another thing that could help with that same thing are the North Carolina Community College transfer guides. Sometimes you'll hear these referred to as BDPs, but there is one for every single major at App State. So say that you are interested in criminal justice and you're like, I don't know what I need to take to prepare myself for the criminal justice program at App. You click on the transfer guide for criminal justice. It literally spells out every class that's most appropriate for you to take while you're still at Wake Tech to make sure that you're setting yourself up for success there. So make sure to use these tools. They are right there on that transfer.appstate.edu page, right there on the front homepage there. So for the transfer application itself, it's a very, very straightforward process. So just to kind of cover who is a transfer student in the first place, like how do we define a transfer student at App State? It's literally any student who has already graduated from high school, but who has also attempted college credit after they've graduated high school. If you're still in high school, but you're taking dual enrollment credit, then you apply as a first-year student, and it's a very, very different admission process. So for those of you who have graduated from high school and are going to be taking coursework after that time, we have this very straightforward process. The minimum requirements are 24 transferable credit hours. We just need to be able to see a full semester of completed credit, but the rest of it can be in progress to add up to 24 transferable credit hours. The other minimum requirement is a 2.25 cumulative college GPA. So that's based on your coursework from Wake Tech, but also from anywhere else that you've attempted college coursework. So those are the two things that we're looking for. So if you meet those requirements, we highly encourage you to apply. Now for main campus, we do have some suggested dates to apply. There aren't any deadlines, by the way, for transfer admission. It is all rolling admission just until the class fills. So if you're applying for a spring semester to App State and you're going to be coming to App State's main campus here in Boone, October 15th would be a great time to shoot for. For instance, summer, fall, February 1st would have been a good time to shoot for, but by all means, we are still accepting applications for fall. Like I said, it's rolling admission, so we'll be accepting students throughout the rest of the entire semester. So you've got plenty of time to get through everything. Once your application becomes fully complete with all the required materials that you can see down here at the bottom, we get back to you in about 2 to 4 weeks with a decision. It could be faster, but that's our general turnaround time. For App State Online, we do encourage applying by those same suggested dates, but the final deadline would be like December 5th for spring semesters and July 1st for summer and fall. And it's a little bit longer of a decision period to find out if you're accepted or not, just because it's kind of a two-stage review process for the university as a whole and then for the program itself. So keep in mind that if you are applying for an App State Online program, that of course, you have to meet those minimum requirements that we listed at the top there, but each individual program has their own program-specific requirements as well, and all of those are detailed on each of the landing pages for each program. So just online.appstate.edu, click on your program, it'll spell everything out for you to make sure that you have what you need. But we just need all official college transcripts, and the high school transcript is only required for students that are applying with fewer than 24 hours. So if you have any questions about that, let us know, but you can view all these details on the admissions website as well. All right, now the fun part, how much it's going to cost. So we understand that, you know, wherever you choose to go next, it needs to be a good financial decision for you too. So we wanted to kind of spell out what our cost structures are for both main campus and for App State Online. So for this year in particular, for students that are going to be attending App State, but living off campus, we have these figures at the top here for just tuition and fees, since you're not going to be paying for housing or for a meal plan. So as a North Carolina resident, you all would be paying about $7,700 for the full year. So that's fall and spring semesters combined for tuition and fees. That does include the textbook rental system program that'll cover the majority of your textbooks as well. Now, if you're living on campus, and I'll be talking about housing in just a little bit too, but if you're living on campus, that means you're adding in housing as well as a meal plan. So for the full year, it's about $15,100 for in-state students. If you're pursuing an App State Online program, it's a very different cost structure. So it's billed per credit hour, and it would be $163.05 per credit hour for App State Online programs. So in terms of kind of offsetting that cost, we want to make sure that you maximize every option available. So I'm definitely filling out the FAFSA, which is the free application for federal student aid. That always opens on October 1st, and the priority date to submit it is always March 1st. So if you are thinking about fall 2021 right now, go ahead and submit that FAFSA. Our financial aid team would be able to get you that package in the end of March if you're accepted by then to the university. We also have our transfer scholarships. So for those of you applying for fall 2021, you would have had to have your admission application fully completed complete by February 15th, and the scholarship application is due March 1st. It'll be the same layout for all of the future fall semesters, but only students applying for summer and for fall are eligible for transfer scholarships. Unfortunately, we don't have those for spring, but all those details are on the email, or I'm sorry, on the website links that you see there at the bottom as well. All right, so on the housing side of things, if you are transferring to App State's main campus and you are less than a year out of high school, you're required to live on campus and therefore you're guaranteed housing. Now, if you're coming to App State more than a year after you graduated high school, then it's up to you whether you want to apply for on-campus housing, but it's definitely not required, and it is first come, first serve until our housing fills for transfer students. So something really exciting for this year is that starting in the fall 2021 semester, we are going to have a transfer hall. It might have a different name by then, but it's called the transfer hall for now. So this used to be the Appalachian Panhellenic Hall, and it's slightly off campus, about a 2-minute walk from the edge of campus there. But this is the new transfer hall. We're going to have a transfer center on the bottom level, available to any and all transfer students, regardless of whether you live in that building or not. But there will be 248 transfer students living in this residence hall, about 80% of which are going to be new students. So it'll be a really awesome community. So this kind of took the place of our residential learning community for transfer students. So it's just a lot bigger than it was before. So we're very, very excited about that. But just keep in mind that you do have to apply for housing to be able to be considered for it. And again, it's not guaranteed. It's first come, first serve for those of you that are transferring more than a year from when you graduated high school. And the housing application, if anybody's already confirmed their enrollment to App State for fall, you can apply starting on Monday of next week on the 15th. Oh, and also, if you plan to live off campus, and about 75% of our transfer students live off campus, by far the best resource for you to use to search for your housing, maybe even off-campus roommates, is offcampus.appstate.edu. So definitely check that out if you haven't already. All right, so last but not least, getting involved, this really should be a top priority. Academics first, getting involved second, because this will enhance your college experience in way more ways than you could ever imagine. This is what made the big difference for me when I did my undergraduate career here. As you can tell, I just never wanted to leave after I graduated. So this is our group of transfer student mentors, by the way. So our transfer students are extremely involved on campus. So, making sure that you're looking at, our list of over 400 clubs and organizations to see what maybe jumps out at you, to see what you want to get involved with, because it's more than just having fun. I mean, yeah, that's a big plus for it and everything, but it's also the transferable skills that you're going to get from those clubs and organizations, the leadership skills that you're going to acquire, and just kind of meshing into the community overall, and it really helps you kind of build that community as well. So from studying abroad, and kind of getting involved with that service component that we have through our ACT office for alternative service experiences, all sorts of different things that you can get involved with, sports, intramurals, clubs and organizations that are focused on service, or maybe clubs that are focused on international and multicultural sides of things. So you can definitely find something here that you're interested in, but make sure that just make this a priority for yourself. You'll thank yourself in the long run. And especially for those of you that are going to be living off campus, this is the best way to kind of get involved within the community overall at App State. So we hope that you enjoy your time when you get here. And it's a lot to look forward to. And although we're not able to offer in-person tours right now, I really wish that we could, but we're not able to do that currently. But we do have tons of virtual opportunities for y'all to connect with us. So whether it's setting up a one-on-one video chat with me to talk through your specific questions about your transfer process, or maybe you want to hear straight from students in one of our Ask an App student panels every Thursday at 5 o'clock, if you wanted to just ask them directly. We have all sorts of stuff going on. Something coming up in April is our open house. It's on April 10th. So for anybody in our system. If you haven't done that yet, I encourage you to go to this website for admissions.appstate.edu to get your information on file with us, and so that you can get the invitation to open house. But it's a virtual open house. Again, that's on April 10th. If you want to come and learn about your program that you're interested in, or about study abroad, or about research opportunities, financial aid, it's literally everything under the sun that we're going to be talking about that day. So definitely keep an eye out. And these are our transfer student mentors, by the way, in this picture here. So these are students that transferred from various institutions in North Carolina, across the U.S. That wanted to give back to the transfer community because they felt supported during their time of transferring. And so they're just kind of wanting to give back. So if any of you have any questions for them too, if you go to transfer.appstate.edu, their information's listed out there. So if you want to talk to some transfer students specifically, you can do that. And we do have some from Wake Tech as well that are in this group. So feel free to reach out. But if anybody has any questions, Blair, I'm all ears if there are any questions in the chat box there. But again, thank you all so much for being attentive this morning, and hopefully this gave you a better idea of what to expect here. But definitely join us for some of our other virtual events, and we'll be happy to have you for those. But thank you all so much.
Yes, thank you so much,
Cheers.
All right, we do have a few questions. The first one here says, is there a medical program? I mean, post-bachelor's degree. I want to transfer for biochemistry program or biology, then continue on for a medical program.
Okay, so we do not have a med school at Appalachian. Now, if you were trying to kind of get together your prerequisites to apply for med school, we have a pre-medical track that you can tack on to whatever your major is. So most of the time it would be obviously like within the health sciences fields for those in particular. So like biology, nursing, exercise science, communication sciences and disorders. And a lot of those students that are on that pre-med track, they're just working with an academic advisor within our health professions advising office to make sure that you're getting the prerequisite requirements to be eligible to apply to med school. But with our university being extremely undergraduate focused, we have about 18,000 out of our 20,000 students that are undergraduate students. So there's definitely a big focus there. So we do not have a med school at Appalachian, but we can definitely set you up for success to apply to those opportunities for sure. Thank you for that question.
Speaking of nursing and medical programs and things like that, do you want to just elaborate a little bit on the nursing program at App State? I know we have a lot of students who are interested in nursing. They might just not know that much about the App State program.
Yeah, so it kind of depends on which program that you're doing. We do have a Bachelor's of Science in Nursing, so that's obviously our BSN program, but that is our main campus program. So for students that transfer here, it kind of depends on how much transferable credit hours that you have, or how many transferable credit hours that you have, and whether you've completed the entry requirements for the nursing school as well. And actually, Blair, if it's okay with you, I'm going to stop sharing my screen. And actually, are you still seeing mine? There we go. Okay, I think I'm good now. All right, I'm going to give you the link to the nursing BSN admission process specifically, because it really spells out all of the details as to, you know, the prerequisites that are required for admission into the program itself. And just know that you still can have some of those in progress, so they can offer conditional admission even if you're not finished with a particular course. As long as you're listing that you're in progress of it, that's totally okay. But we have a fantastic nursing program here and a brand new health sciences building too that was just built 2 years ago, that all your classes will take place in. And so that's right across the street from the Watauga Medical Center. So it really kind of gives you the space and the labs and all of the different things that you need to be able to kind of prepare yourself for that and kind of get your clinicals in and all of that good stuff. So let me find the chat box here. Actually, it's this one. Okay. Those are the, or that's the link for just the BSN admission process for main campus. And they do have a separate application required, by the way. That's probably the biggest thing to keep in mind, is that you do have to apply specifically for summer 1 whatever year it's going to be, because the program would start in summer 1 rather than in the fall. So if you start in summer 1, you'll have to apply by mid-January. So say, for instance, you're thinking about summer 1 of 2022, you would have to be accepted to Appalachian just for the transfer admission process itself that we just went through in the presentation. But on top of that, after you're accepted, you have to fill out the BSN application specifically, and it's on that page that I linked there. And that's always due in mid-January, so that they can go ahead and make their decision on the nursing side of things. And every year they have about, I would say, 100 to about 120 students apply for the program, and it is capped at 45 students each year, and that's just a state requirement specifically. Now, for the other nursing program, we do have the RN to BSN program, and that is an entirely online degree, and you would actually only spend a year with us. It's 30 credit hours to get that finished. So if you have an associate's degree in nursing, then you're going to be kind of applying to that program. But on online.appstate.edu, if you just click on the RN to BSN program there, it spells out literally all of the coursework that you have to have completed or in progress to be eligible for the program. So hopefully that gives you an idea of kind of both sides overall, but if you ever have any more questions about that, I'm happy to help.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Another question that we have, it says here, okay, I'm interested in pursuing film and television production. I see that the school offers a minor in film studies, but I'd like to know how intensive the program is. When looking at the course list, it appears to primarily focus on writing, though there does seem to be a small amount of production-related courses. Do you know how intensive the production courses are? Would you recommend transferring instead to a university that offers film studies or BFA/BA with a concentration in film and video production?
It's a really good question. So yes, the film studies program is technically within the English department. So that's why you're seeing a lot of writing oriented things, because it really is a literature program. So viewing film as literature. But a lot of students that want to kind of pursue the route that you're looking to take with your career, they will kind of pair. Usually they'll minor in film studies within the English department, and then their major would be electronic media and broadcasting, because there's a lot more of the production piece involved with electronic media and broadcasting, because there's different kind of concentrations that you can have even within that. But we have something called App TV on campus, as well as like WASU, which is a radio station. But just kind of, if you're looking at different types of media in addition to film, you can kind of pair the two to kind of form what you would like to. But the production courses within the electronic media and broadcasting program would be a lot more intensive. And that's actually a concentration of the communication degree that we have here. So your major would be communication, electronic media, and broadcasting. Now, the third option would be interdisciplinary studies. So we have a specific department on campus called interdisciplinary studies, and their advisors help students pull together components of multiple degrees to form what they are looking for, and how you can make that a marketable degree for your career path as well. So I'm going to put Dr. Mark Noon's contact information here in the chat box. He is the program director, or I'm sorry, departmental head, I guess you could say, for the interdisciplinary studies program. And he helps students constantly with kind of pulling together programs and kind of components of other majors to form what you're looking for. So I will put the link to his page here that has his contact info and a little bit about him too, if you're interested in that. So just a heads up. Thank you for that question. And also, that's a good thing to learn about during open house too. If you want to hear it directly from faculty members, they might have some suggestions as well. So it'll be on April 10th.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Of course.
All right, moving right along. Student is asking, my major is early childhood after I graduate from Wake Tech. Would I be able to get my major in early childhood? Does Appalachian State have early childhood education? I believe they're probably asking about the difference between the university transfer and the applied science early childhood tracks.
Gotcha, gotcha. Yes, we do have an early childhood program, and there's actually a really, really great transfer guide for that so that you can make sure that you're getting kind of what you need overall. Give me 1 second, I can find that for us. So the program here, so you're doing early childhood education right now at Wake Tech, but you'll be doing like the child development birth through kindergarten program, which is the Bachelor's of Science degree. And so if you are completing the AAS degree, if I am not mistaken, we have an articulation agreement throughout North Carolina for early childhood education. Give me 1 second, I can show that to you as well. Yep, right here it is. Okay, so if you would like to see the articulation agreement, because the entire state of North Carolina and the community colleges within that have agreements with all of the UNC system schools for basically early childhood development to child development, birth through kindergarten for the university, for you to get your BS degree. So you're welcome to check that out, but the best way to make sure that you're taking the most appropriate classes now to transfer into that program specifically, you can use that transfer guide right there that I just linked. Sorry for blowing up the chat box today, y'all. Lots of links.
No, that's fine. I'm copying your links and sending them individually to those students who are asking questions. So that's perfect.
Good.
All right. Yes. Good question. Next question says, if I am planning on transferring spring of 2022 or applying for spring 2022, my deadline is in October, right?
Not really a deadline. You can do it after that time if you want to. But yes, October 15th would be the suggested date to apply. But I mean, you could apply as early as August 1st of this year. So that's when the application for spring 2022 will open. But yes, I mean, I wouldn't recommend applying anytime after like November. You're just going to get stressed out trying to get everything together. So just play it out to where you can maybe just get the application in about mid-October or so. Start to get your transcripts into us so that we can get you a decision at least by November so that you can work through your enrollment step process as well. But yeah, rolling admission. But yeah, October 15th is a suggestion.
All right, awesome. Okay, give me just a second.
Oh yeah, take your time, Blair. Thank you for that.
All right, so let's see. Student is asking, I have IB credits from high school, but I can't get college credit for them at Wake Tech. Will my IB credits be accepted at App?
Yeah, it'll depend on the scores for those, but I can give you the IB credit policy. But yes, we do accept IB credit. Yes. All right, here's another link for you. There we go. But yes, even though it would not count in your 24 transferable credit hours just for admission requirements, it'll be added on the back end. Like after you're accepted, if you wanted to send in the IB scores, that's when we would articulate that credit so that we can apply it to your credit evaluation for you.
Perfect. Let me go back to that question.
Yeah.
All right. Next question. Hi, thank you so much for being here today. Is there a link to the pre-med pathways?
Yeah. So, and you're really going to be working with the health professions advising office when you get here to make sure that you're taking the courses that you need. But let me see if there is. I don't believe that we have like a spelled out like document that shows that information, because you really are just kind of working directly with your health professions advisor. So I might need to do a little bit more exploring on that to see if there is something somewhere that I can share with you. So Blair, if you wouldn't mind, maybe just get me in touch with that student and we can make sure that you get that answer. Thank you for asking, but I can make sure to check on that for you. So thanks.
Yeah, sure. Mm-hmm. Yeah, before we leave today, I'll make sure to get that information for you,
Thank you.
Presley. All right. Let's see here. Is it okay to be enrolled at App and take classes at Wake Tech at the same time? So dual enrollment?
Right. Yeah, it's entirely okay. The biggest thing to keep in mind is that financial aid can only be applied usually to one school at a time. So just keep that in mind. It might be worth talking with a financial aid counselor to see how that would affect everything for you. But yes, I mean, it's definitely doable. It just might affect financial aid specifically.
All right. I think that's the last question that I'm seeing. Oh, we have a new one. Okay, it says, I am looking into a communications degree, but I'm having trouble finding the document that shows what classes I need to take to transfer.
Okay. And is it a specific concentration that you're looking for communication?
Yeah, so there are different concentrations.
Yeah, and I'm happy to share my screen again if that's okay. So right now I am on and actually I'll show you how I got to this. So if you literally just go to our main website, transfer.appstate.edu, right here on the home page, where you see advising and planning, this is where our transfer guides are linked. So if you click on that, it's going to come up with a giant list of majors. So you'll just scroll down, they're all in alphabetical order, thankfully. But if you scroll down to communication, you'll be able to see, like just general communication studies, advertising, all of these various concentrations here. And so say that you're looking at journalism specifically or any of those others, you'll just click on that and obviously click the current year. And it will show you exactly which credits are encouraged. And sometimes you'll see that it says like UGETC. That's just a very long acronym to mean it's a general education course. And so if you click on that, it's going to give you a massive list of courses, all of which are super flexible. So you can just, look at your look at kind of what the guidance is there. So look, we're looking for a math class. That's a UGETC course. So we're going to go on there. And you can just Control F is my best friend there. So if you type in math, it'll take you down to your various math classes that you can take. So you could just choose one out of all of these right here to satisfy that. So sometimes you'll see those general education courses listed out, whereas others are, explicitly stated, like English 111, you'll have to have that. English 112, definitely. But there's a lot of flexibility with these other ones, but you'll have that guidance point right there to tell you what type of class that it is. But hopefully that kind of points you in the right direction. But if you ever have questions about that and you're having trouble kind of deciphering what all of that means, you're welcome to let me know how I can help moving forward.
Yeah, so the student did reply and she said either public relations or just communication studies. So hopefully that helped.
Good deal.
All right, any other questions from anyone? Please feel free to shoot them in that Q&A box. All right, Presley, do you want to talk a little bit about maybe some of the cool electives that you have at App, like snowboarding and skiing?
Yeah, so part of App State and the location itself, it lends a lot of cool PE opportunities here. So before y'all hopped on, Blair and I were talking about the snowboarding course that we offer here, and I took that one as well during my senior year. So I mean, there's some random stuff that we have. So there's Appalachian Ski Mountain that I'm looking at right now, actually, but it's about 15 minutes from campus, and so that's where all of our snowboarding and skiing classes happen. So if if you still have like a wellness literacy credit or a PE credit that you still have to complete when you get here, if you have some general education coursework left to finish up, you can definitely take one of those courses. I took a paddle boarding course during my time here as well. I took a hiking course, and there's all sorts of hiking trails in the area, like with probably just over 50 within driving distance of campus. So lots of opportunities for some outdoor stuff happening up here. And you've probably seen, maybe if you have any friends kind of attending App State, you've seen their pictures of Rough Ridge and they're hanging over what looks like a cliff. You got to have that iconic picture taken when you get here too. But it's a beautiful place to live and learn for sure. I mean, that's half of the reason I stayed after I graduated, but it's a really cool experience, you know, both on campus with the community. That was my favorite aspect about App, was just the community vibe. It's just a really cool eclectic culture here, both on campus and in the Boone community too. And everybody's just like really closely knit, and that's what I've always felt here. But hopefully one of these days when the world returns to normal, we can have y'all up for a visit sometime in person, so that you can get a little bit more experience just on campus and kind of in the area overall. But it's definitely a very enjoyable place. So we're happy to share it with you.
Awesome. Definitely agree with all that. We've had some questions from students often just kind of asking about, if you can think off the top of your head, what some of the more popular majors are at App State.
Right. So our top majors, I'm just going to name maybe like, I don't know, 7 to 10 or so, whatever I can remember. So communication is huge. So all of those various concentrations that we just saw on that transfer guide site. Communication is big. Health sciences for sure. Music as well. So our Hay School of Music is phenomenal. Our College of Business is phenomenal as well. We have tons of different programs that fall within the College of Business here. So our students are extremely well prepared. Also sustainable kind of focused majors like sustainable technology, sustainable development, because that's actually one of our core values here, and something that we're really well known for is our sustainability initiatives. Apart from that, psychology is really big, environmental science. I would say that that's probably like our top 6 or 7 overall. But I mean, we have over 150 programs, and you know, they vary in size as well. So it's just kind of what you're looking for. Oh, and the College of Education. I cannot believe I forgot that, because we were founded as a teaching college, as I said earlier. So education is honestly what put us on the map and kept us on the map as well. So you cannot go wrong with any of those programs whatsoever. But it's a really awesome opportunity for everybody. And again, one more plug for open house. You can learn about all of these different majors in a lot more detail as well, if you want to kind of see, you know, what kind of career options are you going to have after you graduate from a program like that? What are you going to be able to go into? So definitely join us for that if you can. And again, it's virtual like everything else under the sun these days. So you can join us if you'd like to.
Thank you. We got another question that came in, and I guess you can kind of elaborate on transportation, but the student is asking, does the Apple Cart go off campus to Sugar Mountain or any other of the outdoor sites?
That's a really good question. So for those of you who are like, what in the heck is Apple Cart? Well, we try to be cutesy with everything. So it's APPAL as in Appalachian, so it's Apple Cart. But it's a bus transportation system that serves the entire town of Boone. So there's about 12 or 13 different routes. So the vast majority of apartment complexes have a stop right out in front, and it's free for everybody. Like, it's not even in tuition, because it's like free to the entire town, whether you're a student or not. It's there for everyone. Now, it will not take students all the way out to like Sugar Mountain and Beach Mountain, because that's out in Banner Elk, North Carolina. It's about at least 30 minutes from campus, if not just a tad bit more. But students are going to and from that area all the time. So you'll find people that you can carpool with for sure. And for the classes that we offer for skiing and snowboarding, there would be like a shuttle available for you to take it to and from there. So you won't have to figure out your own transportation to get to those classes in particular. But yes, yes, Apple Cart is primarily in just Boone itself, so that everybody can kind of get around everywhere. But you can always, purchase a parking pass if you wanted to. Now, if you're living off campus, there's a really good chance you don't need to buy a parking pass at all. So just like see what your apartment complex offers, and you can just take Apple Cart to and from class and save yourself at least $276 for that parking pass. But there's some great ways to get around town and to the different areas around us as well.
All right. Yeah, like she said, if you did take one of the PE classes, like to a ski, app ski, they do have their own shuttle, so you don't have to worry about that. Let's see, another question here says, my sister is a student at App and I have been accepted. If she gets selected to live on campus, can she pick me for a roommate? Do I also have to apply for housing?
So, okay, so your sister's a current student.
Sounds like a current student and this student just got accepted. So can they live together?
Awesome. Yeah, as long as you confirm your enrollment, and as long as you're like specifically a transfer student, just want to make sure, because I know that we can have some college and career promise students in the group as well. But if you are specifically a transfer student, if you have already been accepted, then the next step would be for you to confirm your enrollment, because you won't be able to apply for housing until you do that first. So within your My Mountaineer portal, and that's just something that we'll give everybody within a couple of days after you submit the online application. But within the My Mountaineer portal, you'll click on reply to your offer of admission, and then the next thing that I'll open up is the enrollment deposit, which will go straight towards your fall tuition. So it's not an addition to the fall tuition, it's just pulled directly from that. That's how you'll get the link to appear in your My Mountaineer portal for you to apply for housing. And the housing application opens at midnight on Monday of next week. So at midnight on February 15th, you can go ahead and hop in there if you're confirmed by that time to apply. And as long as you list your sister on there and she lists you, then University Housing will do their absolute best to pair y'all together. I mean, it's not entirely guaranteed, but they will do their best to pair you together. And if you're applying next week for housing, you're going to have an extremely strong chance of getting it, since you'll be one of the first people to apply.
Thank you so much for answering.
Yeah.
All right, everyone, we've got just under 15 minutes left. So I do encourage you all to get your questions in if there's anything else that you'd like to ask Presley while we have her. I am also going to be putting a link to a survey in the Q&A box. We here in advising greatly appreciate your feedback. We love to get the feedback from students just to know what we can improve on. If you enjoyed this event, how helpful it was. So please, please, please fill out the survey. If you do, you will also be entered for a $25 gift certificate. So just something to get you to fill this survey out. So let me go ahead and post that. And like I said, in the meantime, please get those questions into our box for Presley.
And just a heads up for y'all as well, I've actually scheduled just a little virtual transfer talk, as I like to call them, for next Thursday on the 18th with you all. It's from 12 until 1:50. So if you have questions that you want to talk more on like a little conversational basis, a little bit more like face-to-face, you can definitely hop on that. But it's on the Wake Tech page for where all your university visits are, if you want to join us for that next week as well. So that we can talk a little bit more in detail about your specific questions too.
Perfect. We do have another question that came in. The student is asking, what are the internship opportunities like at App, specifically for computer science?
Okay, and I might need to get you in touch with Dr. Tasha Corey. He's the program director for computer science. So as you can imagine, with us having over 150 programs, sometimes our expertise can be about a mile wide and an inch deep because of all of that information to cover. So I can definitely get you some information from him directly, or if you'd prefer to reach out to him directly, that's fine as well. But as an overarching picture of internships at App State, State, I mean, every year we have close to 8,000 students, if not more than that, out of our entire student body that report having an internship. So sometimes it's required for certain programs, sometimes it's highly encouraged. So I can't say for certain what the internship process looks like for computer science just off the top of my head, but I am happy to get you that information if you wouldn't mind to maybe send your email address over, and I'm happy to follow up about that if that's okay. But thank you for that question. But that's a very high demand major, so you cannot go wrong with that one. The job placement rate it's just about 100% for our computer science students. So some very successful people coming through that program.
Especially with everything happening now and everything being virtual.
For sure, they need more hands on deck.
All right. Does App have any MCAT prep classes?
My first thought is most likely, but honestly, I'm not sure off the top of my head. That's another one that I can check on for you and get back to you about if that's okay. I'm not as in tune to the graduate school side of things.
All right. Okay, we are at 10 minutes. If there's any other questions, please get those in. Otherwise, Presley, if you want to give any more information about how to contact you, or if you want to put your email or something or anything in the chat box, I'd be happy to share that.
Okay.
And then again, like she mentioned, just how you got to this event, I guess next week, Presley will be giving another presentation, so please feel free to join that as well.
Definitely. And I did find a link for the MCAT as well for just kind of preparation resources. So there's that one first, and then I'll put my contact information in here as well. Oh, no, Blair, don't copy that last thing. I don't know why I had financial aid in my head.
Okay. All right. Let me get the
That is correct. Sorry about that.
That is fine. All right.
You can tell I've been talking about FAFSA too much lately.
All right, got the MCAT. All right, well, we want to thank everybody for joining today. It means a lot to us. Please feel free to reach out to either Wake Tech Advising or Presley if there's any questions that pop into your head. We'd be happy to help you. I am getting her information in the chat now.
Awesome, thank you.
All right, if there are no more questions, I will go ahead and end the event. Again, thanks everybody for joining. Please don't forget to fill out that survey. And I hope everyone has a good day.
Awesome. Thanks, Blair, and thanks everybody for coming today. It's really nice to chat with you some, and I hope to see you next week too.